I'm sure you've been told plenty of time that you need to have consistency and discipline in order to be a successful trader. Listen, I've told you that several times. But what I've failed to tell you, in order for you to be successful in any of those things like discipline, profitability, consistency, you must first learn the three phases of emotions in the trading market. See, anything that produces fruit must have a root system. See, today's video, I am going to tell you something. I'm going to share something with you that's going to absolutely change your life in trading. All right, it's going to absolutely change your life. How do I know that? It's because I'm going to give you and create in you an awareness that you probably didn't even realize or paid attention to. See, there's something that each of us as traders go through on a day-to-day basis. But see, we just go through it. But I want to help you to become aware. After you watch this video, the next time you trade, I guarantee you're going to think about this message today. Now, I'm going to let you know that today's message is going to stretch you. It's going to allow you to see something about yourself, but it's going to allow you to be able to get to the next level. I want to teach you something that's going to get you to the next level. But you must first have an understanding and an awareness to change anything in your life. So right now, I want to read something to you that is absolutely, once you realize what the Lord is saying here, it's going to blow your mind, okay? In Deuteronomy 2 and 3, the Bible says, you have skirted, which means to go around, or you have circled this mountain long enough. We're going to stop right there. You have skirted this mountain long enough. Just to give you some context, this is the children of Israel. They have been set free from Egypt, but yet they were being disobedient. So they were kind of wandering for those 40 years, right? And so at this moment, God is telling them, listen, you have been circling around this mountain, going nowhere around this mountain. And we're going to get to we're going to finish up this verse. And when we finish up this verse, you are going to see yourself in trading if this is something that you have been dealing with or struggling with. So I want to actually go to the whiteboard, and we're going to, I want you to see how as traders we have been circling around the mountain of emotions. But why we've been circling around the mountains of emotions, that's what I want you to become aware of. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a circle, right? Now, in this circle, you are going to see the three phases of emotions, right? So what are the three phases of emotions? Three phases of emotions are your pre-trade, right? So these are more complex emotions, right? So the first two are complex emotions, and then the third phase of emotions is a lot more simplistic, right? So first, phase one of emotions is pre-trade. All right, so pre-trade, that's right before you get into a trade. All right, second phase of emotions is actually the emotions that you go through when you're actively in a trade. All right, now third phase of emotions, which is more simplistic, is post-trade, right? So once you have finished your trade, this is done. Now, in that time span of pre-trade, actively in a trade, and post-trade, you have went through literally three different phases of emotions in a very short time span. All right, and I want you to become aware of these things, and we're going to pinpoint why you keep falling in the same trap, even when you don't want to. Like, you've made in your mind, I'm going to stick to rules, I'm going to stick to strategy, all that good stuff, but yet you keep feeling that feeling of I have an urge to keep doing more. All right. So phase one, we're going to say phase one. This is pre-trade. All right. So pre-trade phase one. So we're just going to write phase one. Boom. Now phase one leads to phase two. All right. So phase two. And then over here we have phase 3. All right. Hope y'all can see that, phase 3. And then boom. So this is the cycle. This is our cycle right here. All right. All right. Phase 1. What are the emotions that we go through in phase 1? And it is fear. That's fear. You also have greed. And you also have doubt. 3. So fear. Fear, that is that emotion whenever you are simply just scared to get into the market, right? You are fearful to get into a specific trade for whatever that fear is or why you are fearful. Most of the time before we get into a trade, we are fearful because we are afraid to lose money. All right. Now, next thing is greed. Greed. How can you be greedy pre-trade? So the way that we express greed pre-trade is we over leverage, right? Or we try to have these huge targets off the hope that it gets there. That is some key areas that many of us struggle with is we start having greed before we even enter a trade, right? That is what makes us say, listen, this lot size isn't big enough. And we stop thinking more about the risk and we start thinking about just in the hope of price just running your direction and you just killing it today, right? Now, of course, I want to see you do great, but that is a way that we do express greed. Now, we also have doubt. Doubt is funny because doubt, you would think that doubt and fear is the same thing. No, doubt is your lack of belief in yourself, but also it is also a lack of belief in the thing that God has given you. So now you are doubting what God has given you, whether it's your strategy, whether it's your rules, whatever it may be for you in the market. And you're also doubting what God is, the ability for you to do right by those things. All right. So like prime example, if the Lord has given you a clean strategy and now you're doubting the setup because of maybe you simply over strategized or you overly scan the market and now you're seeing things that's not really there. I am a witness. I've done it hundreds of times. You simply just doubt what the Lord has already have given you to be successful, right? Now, phase 2, and I'm kind of just going to go through these briefly, all right? So phase 2 is we struggle with, and this area, this is actually where we're actually in the market. We are struggling with anxiety. All right, so we're struggling with anxiety. That is a huge thing in phase 2. We are hopeful. Boom. And then also the emotion that we're going through is impatience. Now, as we look at anxiety, anxiety can show up in 2 ways, right? You can see it, you can feel it in your physical, but it's also in your mental. Right, so whenever I say your physical, that's whenever your arm, your hand. I say your arms, your hands start becoming sweaty. You start becoming jittery in the trade. So if you ever notice that you are becoming, your hands are sweating, you're moving around a lot, that means that you're starting to allow anxiety to creep in, right? Also, in your mental capacity, this is what is causing you to make impulse decisions, right? You're not settled down, you're not relaxed inside of a trade. You start kind of, overthinking about things, over analyzing at that point. It's because you are you're getting worried that this trade is about to go against you. All right. Now, you being hopeful. I know that sounds funny. We always want to speak about hope, but phase 2, whenever you're being hopeful, that means that you are now not focusing on trade itself. You're not focusing on making sure that you are trading the correct way, but you're in hopes that the trade is just going to keep flying in your direction. So because of that, you start, not managing risk properly. You start taking extra positions that you don't need to take. Now, if that's a part of your strategy, then great, you continue to do what you do. But if you are being more hopeful than strategic in the market, that is a lot of our emotions that we also face in phase 2. If price is going your direction, you're hopeful that it's going to continue to keep going your direction. All right. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's bad. It's only bad whenever it starts to go against what is actually meant to save you, and that is your stop loss, right? So if you're not managing your trade the right way, now your hopefulness is actually working against you versus working for you. All right. Now, also, whenever you're seeing a trade go against you and you know that this trade is probably not going to come back, and you're sitting in hope that it's going to come back, you are not being strategically wise in the market. All right. Also, impatience. Right. I barely can remember. Like, my spelling was horrible just now. But in being impatient, I'm sure you may have felt this way, where you see your setup. You know what your desire is for the market to do in order for you to get in a trade or even out of a trade. But yet, you are having so much FOMO, right, that you begin to get in trades too early, leave trades too late, and it is all built around you just simply being impatient. You're not letting the market come to you. You're trying to force things to come out of the market. Listen, I want you to know that it's okay if you miss something. Like, if you miss an opportunity, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I'd rather for you to miss opportunities 100% of the time, or then just keep getting in random trades or bad trades in the hope that it's going to go your direction. All right. Now, phase 3. Now, phase 3 is big. Phase 3 is big. All right. Phase 3 is big. Okay. Look, I want to invite you to come and just join me on May 19th. I am having a 4-day training course that will teach you how to create your foundation for trading, right? So for most traders, if you were like me, you just kind of jumped into trading, right? And you just kind of you've been getting beat up along the way for some of us, it's been for years. But I want to help you to begin to create an actual trading foundation. See, many of us haven't reached success. It's not because you don't have a strategy. It's simply you don't have a foundation. Anything good in life must start with a foundation. So I want to teach you how to establish that foundation. And the cool part is we are going to be using the Bible as our content. So we're going to literally structure our whole trading foundation based upon biblical principles. And I'm so excited because I know this is going to absolutely speed your trading process up. How do I know that? Because I've not only seen my life and my trading journey speed up, but I've seen those that literally started weeks, some of them months ago, and already have been doubling and just going to new heights in trading, and they're just starting. And it's always mind-blowing, but it's not because it's something special that they're doing or special that we did. We just simply gave you a foundation to get you in your success much quicker. All right, so look, please click the description below. Let's get back to the video. So, phase 3 is the feeling of relief. So, relief. Also, you have the feeling of regret, which is, that's a big one, y'all. And here's a puncher right here. All right, I'm gonna make this one big. This is pride. All right, pride, relief. That emotion of it's done. I'm out of this trade. Right. That is the emotion that we go through. Is just that feeling of relief. Right. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, I'm done. All right. That feeling of relief. Also, regret. How often are you actively in a trade? Maybe you won that trade, and let's say it hit a 1 to 2, and you close that particular trade, and then it just keeps running up to a 1 to 5. You feel that emotion of, oh man, I should have stayed in this trade a little bit longer. Oh man, I should have done this. Listen, whenever you start saying I shoulda, you are starting to express regret. All right, whether the trade is going your way or it's not going your way. Now, what I want you to focus on right now is also pride. Pride. All right, so look, Proverbs 16 and 18 says, pride goes before destructions, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So what does pride do? Pride goes before destruction. All right, so oftentimes whenever we are, as traders, we can be prideful. Now, I believe that for many of us, we have been taught, and it may not be directly, but we've been taught to have a sense of pride. How often have you heard to have a, whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, whatever it is, you've been taught to have a sense of pride. But it's fascinating that God says that pride comes before the fall. But what the Lord desires for us to be is humble, right? So pride says this, and again, this is a way that we've been taught. I think I'm actually going to make a video on that. I'm going to make a video on that soon on just how we have been systemized to think and why it's such a struggle for us as traders, and it takes so long for us to get over the hump. It's not because you are not good at trading or you don't have the skill to trade. It is some things that you have been connected to or you've been taught to think probably your whole life. And so now you're trying to break that, and it's very difficult. All right, but pride says, I will not lose today. Pride says, if I've lost, I'm getting back in for another trade. Pride says, I will not accept what was done today. And so what you do is you try to get back. And the way that you try to get back is you start over trading, you start over leveraging, and guess what it does? It brings you back to phase one. Here's the fact. Okay, it's okay. Stay with me right here. All right. So we have phase one, we have phase two, we have phase three. But listen, phase three and phase two is, I'm going to write pride up here. The bridge between these two is oftentimes based upon pride. All right. So pride is often the bridge. And so what happens is, the same way that the children of Israel were circling around the mountain, we find ourselves in this circle of three phases, because the third phase always wants to lead us back to phase one. That is what, in phase one is the beginning. Phase one is the feeling of it is pre-trade. And so because phase three, which is post-trade, was not good enough for you, you get right back into this same system. And so what you're doing is you're essentially finding yourself in this same system over and over and over again. And what does the Bible say? The Bible says that pride will lead to destruction. Some of us are blowing accounts simply because we are constantly falling into pride, and it's leading us back to phase one. Listen, this is okay. Phase three is the starting point for phase one. I know that sounds crazy. Phase three is the starting point for phase one. What happens in phase three oftentimes affects the way that we're going to trade back at phase one. I.e., that's why we get back into multiple trades and try to chase down what happened on phase two. So it goes from phase three, right? So let's start over. Phase one, right, goes to phase three. We'll go to phase two. Phase two goes to phase three. Phase three is the beginning. Oftentimes, if we're breaking the rules, it's because phase three was at its root. We allowed phase three to affect us, which brings us back to phase one in our emotions. All right? So, if you know that you keep blowing accounts because you're overly trading, you're overly doing something, maybe, just maybe, it's because you have not understood that these two here, phase three and phase three wants you to get back to phase one, and phase one wants phase two to be destructive. And so it's all starting off because of this word right here. And so what we're seeing is a destruction because of pride. See, oftentimes whenever we let pride begin to rise, pride gets louder than our systems. Pride gets louder than our rules, right? And so we're finding ourselves in situations and in circumstances that we don't want to be in. And then the next day that we open up our charts, we're regretting what we did the former day. So today, let's just imagine that today you overly traded and you simply just killed your account for no reason. That next day, you're feeling regret. You're feeling regret from your yesterday. And what is regret again? And regret is back at phase 3. And so you're bringing phase 3 back to phase 1. And so that is why you're in this constant state of feeling like you are a failure in trading. But I'm excited because I want to share something to you that is going to change your life. All right, this is going to be really good. Now, as we see the circle, we've seen the whole circle. We're now understanding the circle of emotion, right? And as children of Israel, when God made them aware of what they've been doing, this is what God said to them. I'm going to just start over. He says, and the Lord spoke to me, saying, you have skirted this mountain long enough. And this is what God said. Turn northward. Turn northward. Listen, I want to encourage you today as a trader to turn northward. All right? How in the world do I turn northward? Well, look, first, the Lord wants to make your path straight. Not this. Every time you do this, you're not getting ahead. But if you begin to, like, literally from here, let's not focus on phase 3 anymore, right? So what we're going to do as traders, I want us to begin to let go of this phase 3 and begin to turn northwards, right? We want to start taking off from the upside. We want to start to get to a new level. But here's the thing. In order for us to get to the new level, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be something that we're used to because we've been in this constant pattern for a long time. Some of us been in this pattern for years, right? And so it is going to be difficult. And I'm here to tell you that it's a good thing though. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be really good. See, I want you to know that north is powerful. But see, north is also pretty difficult because north, oftentimes whenever we go north, it seems as though it's uncomfortable. See, in the Bible says, next verse, and command the people saying, you are about to pass through the territory of your brethren, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir, and they will be afraid of you. All right. God tells his people to go north, but yet they are getting closer. He's saying also, listen, you're going to be close to enemy's territory. And for you, I want you to know that when you go north, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to be used to it. You're going to be so used to going through this pattern of thinking and these patterns of just this way that you've been trading. For some of us, it's been years we've been in these 3 phases over and over again. It's like a cycle. But I want you to know that when you go north, it will be uncomfortable. You will feel like, man, this like trading just feels slow. It just feels boring. It just feels like it's not exciting as it once was. That means that you're on the right path because it's not meant to be exciting. It's meant to bring blessing and fruitfulness financially to your life, not for an excitement. Again, it's going to be uncomfortable. The children of Israel, as they walked, they were walking towards enemy territory. All right? Walking towards enemy territory. It's also going to be risky and it's also going to be scary. All right? So what does that mean? It's going to be risky and scary. It's because anything that is outside of the norm of what you typically do is going to feel like you are not going to produce the outcomes that you were once producing. You're not going to feel the same false sense of progress that you felt before. But what you're going to see is the fruitfulness on your screen, which is your profits. Whenever I decided to go north, it felt weird Because before I felt like I was learning more. I felt like I was just learning and I was constantly trading and constantly I was actively. I felt like I was doing much, but I was really just doing a little. But when I started to do less and I started to follow the system and to follow the rules and trade systematically, I started seeing so much more fruit whenever I got out of these three phases of emotions. And I did not let the third phase lead me back to the first phase. All right. Now, I want to be clear. When I talk about these emotions, this is not something that's like these emotions just going to disappear. No, that's not what I'm saying. And I'm not even saying these emotions are bad. It's how you manage these emotions are just going to be the determinant of them being good or being bad, because you're going to feel them. You're going to more likely feel these different emotions, but you have to remind yourself in each trade which phase of emotion that you're in and how is it being beneficial or how is it being turmoil to you and your trading at that specific time. All right. Now, final thing that I want you to understand about going north. Going north will change your life. It will change your life for the good. All right. Begin to break the three phases. Don't allow phase 3 to affect your phase 1. All right. Don't allow regret. Don't allow pride. Destroy those things. Put brakes on those things. I'm telling you, if you begin to do less now, when I say do less, it all depends on the strategy that you have, right? And the intent of how you're actually going to trade. Okay. So if I have an account that I have for a certain reason that does a certain thing, where I'm specifically trading that account to do that specific thing. If I have another account that is made to do one thing, I'm going to do what that account is made to do. But what I'm not going to do is try to break rules in this account, break rules in this account, let the emotions affect me. No, everything is systematically in order and meant to do what they are made to do. So right now, just to give you kind of what I have right now. So I have an account that I literally start off small, right? And I just take setups that I see on different markets, right? Now I also have an account where it's just simply for two indices that I trade, which is a part of my trading signal room. All right. So every morning in the Zoom room, that is where I just give live signals, and that is the focus on this specific account on this end. All right. Now, that is going to be today's video. I want you all to, I'm so excited because I know that now you are aware. Next time you trade, I want you to think about the three phases. Analyze yourself in a trade. All right. And analyze yourself. See where you're at mentally in the trade. See where you're at physically within the trade. All right. Pre-trade, actively in the trade, and also post-trade. All right. So look, God bless you, and I will talk to you next video.